What is up, guys, and welcome back to part 32 of my F1 2016 career mode here at the Hungarian Grand Prix. If you missed season 1 and of course the first 10 rounds of this second season, then you can click the little card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screens to go catch up with everything that's happened over the season and over the career mode so far. But we're here at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and this is a sort of tricky circuit for me. I never really tend to do well here, and that showed last round in season 1 where we actually had a DNF. We had our first ever DNF of that career mode so far. I mean, we've had one since in Spain, but yeah, that was really the only one that we had in season 1. It was a really bad race for us. We really struggled. We weren't going to get points in that race anyway, and yeah, it wasn't a very good one. So we are returning to the Hungarian Grand Prix, and this time we are going to defeat it. We're going to have a really good race here. We have got a really good car compared to last season. It's not the best in terms of downforce, but it's still really good. It's not like the top team in downforce, but it's still got a really good downforce package on it. So hopefully we can come to this track and we can conquer it once and for all. But we have made a few upgrades last time out of the British Grand Prix heading over to this race. So let's head over to Chris and see what he has to say.
Hey, our upgrade pace is looking solid right now, but I do think we need to push harder if we want to stay competitive. Here's the report.
My bad, we don't actually have any upgrades putting on the car, but in terms of the other vehicle performance comparison, Scuderia Toro Rosso have done an amazing job. They are now the best team in Formula 1. How on earth have they done it? Scuderia Toro Rosso have upgraded quite a lot on their car. They've reduced the drag, improved the fuel consumption, and of course upgraded their engine power as well. So they are doing really well in this career mode. They are the best team in Formula 1, followed by myself, Renault, and then Mercedes, and then followed just behind by Ferrari. Then you've got Red Bull Racing, who aren't too far behind. Williams are finally getting up there now, and MAN are doing a really good job as well. They are up into ahead of Force India, Haas, and McLaren Honda, whereas Sauber are just doing atrociously. You can just tell they do not have any funding at the moment to upgrade the car. But let's see whether this affects the performance of all the vehicles as we head over to practice and see what we can do there.
We arrive at the Hungaroring in Hungary for today's practice session. This 4.3 kilometre track features a number of tight corners, which has been the scene of many memorable races. Let's hope we have another this weekend.
Here we are then, first couple of laps in practice, just going through the track acclimatization at the moment. It was a little bit of a tricky one doing this objective, but we did manage to get the purple score in the end, only just beating, I think, by 5 points in the end. We did get a red one, but I think the whole rest of the lap was purple, so that was pretty good. We did get a purple score, and I'm very happy about that, because it means more resource points and more resource points to upgrade the car with. Then we went out and did the tyre wear management, and this was a very good one as well. We got purple throughout the whole session, just about beating the time there on the final lap. And yeah, more resource points for us to use after this race, and hopefully we can upgrade the car before the German Grand Prix. But we're just going to have to wait after qualifying and after the race to see whether we can do that or not. But it was 21st at the end of the session. We decided to end that session because we wouldn't have got any more resource points for laps because it's capped to 10 laps. So we decided to do the qualifying run in FP2. And yeah, we did manage to beat the target time. We didn't manage to beat the purple one, unfortunately, but we did manage to beat the green time, which is absolutely fantastic. And once again, more resource points for us to use at the end of today's race. So I'm very happy with that, and that person in 8th position in total in the driver's standings after that FP2 session. So pretty good session for us, and definitely showing a lot of positives as we head over to qualifying. I mean, last season we were very good in qualifying at the Hungarian Grand Prix. It was just the race. I think maybe tyre wear was a big issue for us last season, so hopefully we can overcome that this time around. But as we head into qualifying, I'm expecting a good result. I'm expecting to get into the top 3, and hopefully, you know, we can get maybe into pole positions as well, because that will really help us to get a good result in the race. But without any further ado, let's see what we do in that qualifying session.
Good afternoon, race fans, and here we are again for qualifying at the Hungaroring. Who will have tuned the perfect setup for their car? We'll find out soon.
Here we are then in qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And it is actually raining outside, which is a little bit annoying because we haven't really done much running in the rain. But hopefully we still have a good package on the car, and it will allow us to get a good position in this qualifying session. Let's head on track though, see what we can do, and hopefully it'll be good enough to get into Q2. Here we are then, first lap in qualifying, coming round the final corner now, down towards the line, just being a little bit hesitant on the throttle. Obviously we don't want to lose the back end on this lap, and it wasn't the best of first laps here in qualifying. It was just sort of a bank lap just to get one in there, just get used to the circuit, because we haven't actually driven in the rain as of yet. So at the moment it's in 7th position, just ahead of Felipe Massa in the Williams. So it's still a good lap, but we will be looking to improve on it. And as you can see, we are 7/10 quicker than our previous best lap time, 8/10 quicker in the end. And that bumps us up into 4th position behind Jenson Button and just above Roman Grosjean. But we're thinking we might want to go for one more lap just in case it's not quite enough to get into Q2. So around the final corner once again, but this time we are full 1 second faster than our previous best time. So it should be good enough to get into Q2, and it is at the moment best time of the session so far, and I don't think that's going to be beaten. And yeah, good enough to get into Q2 there. So a very good lap from myself, just about beating my teammate Jolyon Palmer, both Renaults into Q2. But it doesn't really matter whereabouts we finish in this qualifying session. It's just about getting into Q2, and hopefully we can do a good job in Q2 to get into Q3. Right then, Q2 coming round the final corner for our first lap in this qualifying session. Down towards the line once again, being hesitant on the throttle as it is still raining out on track. Coming across the line once again, it's a 1:36.7, a bad lap here in qualifying, but it is just a banker lap and we will be going for a better one on the next one. And as you can see, 1.8 seconds faster than our previous best lap times. This is going to be a very, very good lap indeed. As we come down towards the line, it's a 1:34.882, just 10 thousandths of a second slower than Nico Rosberg there, but it is good enough to get into Q3, just about getting through that in 10th position ahead of Jenson Button. But it doesn't matter, like I said in Q1, it doesn't matter what position you get in Q2, as long as you get into Q3, then you are very, very happy indeed, and that is exactly what we've done. We've got into Q3, and let's see how we do in the top 10 shootout. Here we go then, the final qualifying session of the day. Round the final corner for our first lap here in qualifying. I think once again it's just going to be a slow one, just a sort of banker lap, just to get used to the circuit. So 1:35.5 this time around, but it's only good enough for 6th position on the grid. We will need to do a better job than that in order to get a good qualifying position. Round the final corner once again, but this time it's 1.5 seconds faster than our previous best time. This is going to put us maybe down into the 1:33s, which it does, a 1:33.899. Good enough for pole position at the moment. Will we be able to hold onto it though with a couple of seconds left to go in the session? Yes, we can. Pole position here at the Hungarian Grand Prix. That is an absolutely fantastic result, and coming back to the track which we really struggled at last season, and this time conquering it. But we haven't finished yet. We've still got the race left to go, but definitely in a very, very good position for that, starting in P1 with Kimi Räikkönen lining up alongside us. Sebastian Vettel in the other Ferrari is right behind us, with Lewis Hamilton in 4th, with Carlos Sainz lining up in 5th, with Nico Rosberg 6th, Max Verstappen in 7th, with his teammate Daniel Ricciardo lining up alongside him in the Red Bull. Esteban Gutierrez lines up in 9th, with my teammate Jolyon Palmer having a really, really disappointing qualifying session, being down in 10th, 1.7 seconds slower than his teammate. So he's going to be really, really disappointed with his pace in that qualifying session. He does need to pick it up as the season goes on, because he's not really been doing too well. He's not been matching me in terms of qualifying pace or race pace. So now I'm starting to think maybe it would have been a better idea to have Kevin Magnussen in the car alongside me. But we've still got the race to go, and maybe he can pick up a few positions there and possibly get into maybe the top 5 or something like that. But without any further ado, let's head over to the race for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
We've seen some astonishing Grand Prix here over the years, haven't we? The drama of 2015 is a recent example. Jenson Button's first win on a wet track in 2006, or in 1997, Damon Hill's heartbreak in the Arrows after a late gearbox failure cost him what would have been the team's only ever victory. What a wonderful place this is to come racing today. Located 12 miles northeast of the Hungarian capital Budapest, the 14 corners of the Hungaroring are steeped in history and prestige. Overtaking has always been difficult on this technical 2.7-mile circuit, but the last few years in particular have turned up some exceptional races. Let's hope we're in for another one here today. So as we look ahead to what I hope will be a very entertaining race, I have to ask Anthony Davidson what you expect to see in terms of strategy today. I mean, do you expect a lot of tyre management? A lot of fuel management?
Well, don't we always? I don't expect these are going to be any more important than usual, if I'm honest. But what I do expect, however, are a lot of drivers getting into the pits early for some kind of undercut on fresh rubber. If you can pit before the person in front, have a good stop and drive a blistering outlap, there may be 1 or 2 seconds to be gained. If anyone gets stuck behind another car, for example, that will be the go-to strategy, surely.
You've done well to put it on pole, but we've still got work to do. trying to cover the inside line off the start.
It's race day here at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and what an exciting race we have on our hands today. Starting in pole position, a great qualifying session to get ourselves right at the front of the grid ahead of the likes of Kimi Räikkönen and Sebastian Vettel, who are right behind us. Have a look at the race strategy for today's race. For some reason, they're giving us a race strategy instruction. Even though we've done 31 races of this career mode, I don't think I need that. But as you can see, it is going to be raining halfway through the session, so we're going to have to adapt our race strategy around that. Obviously, because it was raining in qualifying, we get a free choice of the tyres that we use. So we are going to go for the soft tyres at the start, which should last lap 19, because I wasn't too sure whether to go for the softs at the start or the mediums at the start, but then I found out due to the tyre wear management, which I did, that I can make the softs last the same amount of times as the AI going to make the mediums last. So I thought I might as well go for the soft tyres, get that jump on the other guys who go for the super softs when the rain comes down, and hopefully get the race strategy on those guys behind me. But getting on board with the formation lap at the moment, we just need to get the car ready for the race start, warm up the tyres, warm up the brakes, and make sure that we are nice and fine for the start of the grid, which we are on now. The lights coming on for the second season Hungarian Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go for the race as Kimi Räikkönen looks like he's got to a bad start, as you can see in our right mirror there, going down towards turn 1. We've got off to a great start compared to the AI going down in towards turn 1. Going down in towards the corner. Looks like we've got a load of guys behind us. Yellow flag at the moment. Looks like there was an incident down in towards turn 1. And the safety car has already been deployed in this Hungarian Grand Prix. So we've got to slow it all down, neutralise the race. And we're not really going to bother about pitting for a new set of tyres. There's no point on doing that. Let's have a look at a replay of what's happened at the start of the race. So look on board for the start, because Felipe Nasr, he was the one who crashed out going down in towards turn 1. Everything seems okay at the moment, and he just brakes too late. He just brakes a little bit too late, goes into the path of the manor and breaks his front right tyre, and that is him out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Not too sure what on earth happened down in towards turn 1. So let's have another look on board with Felipe Nasr. He gets off to an atrocious start on the initial run, and then down in towards turn 1, brakes very, very late compared to the other AI. Just goes into the path of the manor. Yes, the manor did move over a little bit to the left, but there was still enough room for Felipe Nasr to fit through there. So not too sure what on earth he was doing, but nevertheless, we are back on board with ourselves for the safety car restart. Safety car coming in this lap. As you can see, we're driving very, very slowly through the last couple of corners, just holding up the likes of Kimi Räikkönen and the Toro Rosso or Carlos Sainz, who has bumped himself up into third position. We should be getting away any second now. And just coming through the penultimate corner now. And away we go. So there we go. The restart is on. The race is underway once again. Kimi Räikkönen will definitely be looking to try and hunt us down. But we've got a little bit of a gap to him as he is now under pressure from the Toro Rosso going down in towards turn 1. Will he be able to go for the overtake? He's going to have a little look up the inside. Can he get the job done? No, he can't. Not quite. But nevertheless, we hold on to the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix for the time being. It's lap 5 in this race. And can we hold on to it as the race develops, going on to lap 7 at the moment, running very, very wide through that fast right-hander. That's giving Kimi Räikkönen a great opportunity to go up the inside into this corner. He's got the job done. Has the Ferrari up into the lead of the race. We've lost out to the Ferrari of Kimi Räikkönen. Now we're going to follow right behind him, maybe try and get DRS down the start finish straight, and hopefully try and get the move back on Kimi Räikkönen through the final corner. Now we need a good exit off of this corner, which we look like we have. We've run it a little bit wide onto the curb there, but we are still very, very close to the back of Kimi Räikkönen. Moving over to the right hand side, up the inside into turn 1. Got the job done before we've even got there. Looks like Carlos Sainz trying to follow through there as well. Can he get the job done? Yes, he can. Carlos Sainz up into second place in this Hungarian Grand Prix. Once again, one lap later, we've run it very, very wide into that corner. We're making the same mistake as we did last lap around. That allows Carlos Sainz to go up the inside. We are right at his tail. Maybe dive up the inside in towards the penultimate corner, which we do, looking up the front left just a little bit, and just about making it up the inside in towards the final corner now. It looks like Carlos Sainz might actually be coming into the pits. And yes, he is. Carlos Sainz is coming into the pits. So he decided to go on the super softs at the start of the race, hence why he got such a good start and was very, very quick. And he's coming into the pits very, very early on, which I think is probably a big mistake, as it looks very, very cloudy out on track at the moment. So in terms of race strategy, I think we've got the nail right on the head there. Very, very good strategy for us. I think Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen doing a good job as well, starting on those medium tyres. They're definitely going to be coming, definitely not going to have to pit once more before the rain comes down. It just depends whether the rain is heavy enough to go onto intermediate tyres, because there's only really one block of light rain. You can see on the car right now, the rain is starting to come down. So Carlos Sainz making a terrible decision to go onto super soft tyres with the rain coming down. And on lap 10, it is bad enough for intermediate tyres. So here we are coming around the last couple of corners. You can just see my car weaving all over the place at the moment. Sebastian Vettel tries a little move around the outside into the penultimate corner. We just squeeze him out at the moment going into the pits right now. We need to get it under braking and get it turned in for the right hand, which we haven't. We've gone onto the grass. That allows Sebastian Vettel a little look up the inside. He goes very, very slowly into the pits. He's going really slowly into the pits, and that's going to allow me to have so much room to the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel, holding up the Red Bull and his teammate as well, as we come into our pit box for our first pit stop in this race for our set of wet intermediate tyres. And as you can see on screen now, there are a couple of guys deciding not to come into the pit, so I'm not too sure why they have done that. I mean, it is definitely heavy enough rain for intermediate tyres. Unless the track's going to be drying up within like the next lap or two, then it's not the best of ideas to stay out on track. So not exactly too sure why they've done it, and I'm not too sure who has done it. Looks like a manner. Yes, it is. It's the manner of Pascal Wehrlein, who has decided to stay out on the soft tyres for the time being. And maybe because his teammate's coming into the pits, I'm not too sure. We're following right behind him at the moment, just going a little bit slowly, a little bit cautious around this driver, because he could easily lose the back end, go into the side of us, and that could be the end of our race. We got past him very, very easily indeed. And up next is Fernando Alonso, who are on the back of him as we come into the penultimate corner now. So through this left-hander, just trying to, you know, shape up a move to get past Fernando Alonso, being cautious once again, not to get down on the power too early, because obviously he is on the wrong tyres and he does not have the traction out of corners at the moment. But good news is the likes of Sebastian Vettel has been held up by those guys as well, so that gives us an even bigger gap to the Ferraris behind us. Daniel Ricciardo, another guy who decided to stay out on the medium tyres, so making a bad choice there to stay out on those dry tyres. It was definitely time for wet, but now we cut ahead to lap 19 and it's time for dries again. We're coming back into the pits for a new set of dry tyres, hugging that right curb there, but running it very, very wide onto the barrier, onto the grass, managing to stay out of the barrier in fact. And here we are coming into pits on lap 19. For some reason this time around, Sebastian Vettel is not slowing up, so he could get a jump on us in the pit stop phase. We need a really good pit stop from the Renault boys, and it's not been good enough. The Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel has got the jump on us. He moves up into the lead of the race for the time being. We need to get him back within the next couple of corners. There are still 15 laps of this race left to go, so anything can happen, and we do have a long time to get the position back on the Ferrari driver, but we do want to get that back as soon as possible, so that he hasn't got the chance to drive off into the distance, because we know the Ferrari is very, very quick on this game. You know, despite being the top car, despite Ferrari being the fourth worst car, they just seem to be so overpowered on this game, which is really, really annoying, but it still shapes us up for very, very good entertaining races, as we unfortunately lose off the back of Sebastian Vettel. And now under pressure from Max Verstappen, running very wide into that corner, and where Max Verstappen got the speed through that corner, I do not know. Maybe that downforce of the Red Bull helped him through the corner, but Max Verstappen got the opportunistic move, went up the inside, and has got the job done, up into second place. But we will have DRS on him. We might be able to do what we did to Kimi Räikkönen earlier on in the race, but we run it wide onto the AstroTurf, onto the runoff area, and lose off the back of Max Verstappen using the DRS. Is not going to be enough to get a move down and towards turn 1. Under braking much better though than the Red Bull driver, and we might be able to get the job done down in towards turn 2. We've got DRS once again, but once again we're just too far off the back of Max Verstappen, as we're on board with Danny Kvyat on lap 26 at the moment. So here we are going through the right-hander, coming towards the end of the lap on board with the Toro Rosso driver. No, his engine has gone, despite them being the best car in Formula 1. Reliability is not there at the moment for Toro Rosso. He's pulling over to the right-hand side, and that is Danny Kvyat out of the race. He's won 2 races this season. He will not be winning a race here today, and virtual safety car is deployed because of that incident. We need to get the car slowed down, and the race is going to be neutralised, and that means that we can save the tyres, save the fuel, and go again later on in the race. There's still quite a lot of laps left to go in this race. 7 laps left to go, 7-8 laps left to go in this Hungarian Grand Prix. So we still have a long time to get back past Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel, as it looks like someone has come into the pits at the moment. I'm not too sure who that is. Looks like Max Verstappen is in the pits, as well as Sebastian Vettel. This man, Sebastian Vettel, is now on the super soft tyres, so he will be hunting us down in the last 5 laps of this Hungarian Grand Prix. So we definitely have to try and defend from him as he comes down in towards turn 2. What on earth has happened there? Sebastian Vettel has got a front right punch. He's literally just put on a new set of super soft tyres, and for some reason his front right is gone. Sebastian Vettel has got a puncture on lap 30. This could have handed the race win straight into my favour. Obviously, we'll have Max Verstappen also on those super soft tyres hunting me down as well, but not too sure what has happened to Sebastian Vettel's front right tyres as we're on board with Carlos Sainz coming through turn 2, and he has had an engine failure as well. So much is going on at the end of this Hungarian Grand Prix. Both Toro Rossos are out. That means the reliability definitely is not there for Toro Rosso at the moment. We're on board with Max Verstappen on lap 33. Following behind me at the moment through the penultimate corner, coming down in towards the final corner. So much quicker on this set of super soft tyres compared to my old medium. So he's going to be so much quicker down this start-finish straight. Just look at the power that he has through the exit of the final corner, following in the slipstream, using the DRS, pulling over to the left-hand side, getting the outside line down in towards turn 1, but can he get the job done around the outside? We're definitely going to be holding that inside line against Max Verstappen, and no, he can't. He gets forced out wide onto the runoff area. He still gets a good drive outside corner, following in the slipstream, but it's just not enough to go for the overtake once again, and Max Verstappen has to hold off and just has to wait 2 more laps. There's 2 more laps left to go in this race, so Max Verstappen definitely has a chance to get past us and get the race win in this race, as long as he is patient. You know, there's a long way left to go. He doesn't need to be right at my tail like he is at the moment, but as long as he doesn't make a mistake, or as long as we don't make a mistake, then we have got this race win. We just need to try and hold off Max Verstappen for the time being as we go into the chicane, but Max Verstappen has gone straight into the back of our Renault. Not too sure what on earth he was doing into the chicane there, braking a little bit too late, going into the back of our Renault. Maybe just didn't realise how early I had to brake because of these worn mediums, but Max Verstappen making a huge mistake there, as we've made a huge mistake running it wide like we have done so many times in this race. That's allowed Max Verstappen to go on our right hand side, Daniel Ricciardo on the left. I'm in a Red Bull sandwich at the moment. I've damaged my front right wing end plate as we go down into penultimate corner, diving it up the inside of Max Verstappen. I know that I need to get past him as soon as possible, otherwise if he does get past, then he will get the race win. No, he won't, because he's coming into that pits. The front right wing damage that he had because of the chicane, driving into me in the chicane, has forced him into the pits as Daniel Ricciardo tries to go for a move on the left hand side. He has had a terrible first season, a terrible second season, but now he is fighting for the race win on the final lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix. I lose the back end all over the place through turn 1. Daniel Ricciardo has a great run down in towards turn 2 compared to me. He's got the inside line. Can he get the job done? Yes, he can. Up the inside in towards turn 2, and unfortunately we have lost the lead of the race, but if we stick behind him, we may be able to find a little spot up the inside. Might have to dive it up the inside somewhere. As long as we don't make contact with the Red Bull driver, then we should be okay. But at the moment on those super soft tyres, he is so quick compared to us throughout this circuit, especially with that front wing damage that we have occurred thanks to Max Verstappen. I'm going through the chicane at the moment where Max Verstappen actually made that contact earlier on in the race. You can see in the background Sebastian Vettel also, no, that's not Sebastian Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen also trying to get involved in the battle, but I think he's just going to be a little bit too far at the end of the day. And once again through this right hand, and because of that front wing damage, we cannot get the car turned in, and that definitely means that Daniel Ricciardo is going to win today's Hungarian Grand Prix. It's been a little bit disappointing we've lost the race lead, but still a second place is a decent result for us. But Daniel Ricciardo through the final couple of corners, I've said this before, he had a terrible season 1, he had a terrible season 2, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to be his first race win in this career mode. As I come through the final corner now, down across the line for a fantastic second position, and finally conquering the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
And I can see now the drivers are making their way out. We need Red Bull fighting at the front. They do an incredible amount for Formula One. And that's another winner's trophy heading back to Milton Keynes.
So an action-packed race there at the Hungarian Grand Prix. A little bit disappointing that we didn't get that race win, losing out on the final lap of the race. But as you can just see on the lap times, my best was a 1:24.1. Daniel Collins' best was a 1:21.9. So those medium tyres were just not really suited to go to the end of the race. The tyre wear was just a little bit too bad towards the end of the race. And those guys being on fresh super softs, it wasn't going to happen at the end of the day, which is a little bit unfortunate. But Daniel Ricciardo finally gets a race win in this career mode. A great job from him, with myself finishing in second. Kimi Räikkönen finished in third with Lewis Hamilton in fourth. Jenson Button getting a fantastic fifth position, with Fernando Alonso also getting sixth. Jolyon Palmer, he finished in seventh, so he did manage to move up a couple of positions, with Max Verstappen in eighth, Valtteri Bottas ninth, and Nico Rosberg getting the final championship point. Let's have a look though at how this affects us in the drivers' standings. And in the driver's standings, we have moved further ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, with the gap now being 28 points over the Ferrari drivers. So the championship is definitely falling into our hands, but we still have a long way left to go. 10 races left to go in this season. So it is not over yet, and we do need to keep on knocking at the doors of the championship, just knocking on the heels of those Ferraris and the Red Bull drivers, and the Mercedes, of course, and even the Toro Rossos who are up there. They just had big reliability issues here today. So the championship isn't over, but we're definitely going to be pushing to try and win it nevertheless. Let's have a look at how this affects us in the constructors' standings though. And in the constructors' standings, we are still leading the way, and we have increased our gap over Ferrari to 10 points, thanks to Sebastian Vettel not scoring any points here today, and myself getting a second place, and Jolyon Palmer, I think he got 7th as well. So good result for Renault here today, getting a good amount of points and increasing the lead over Scuderia Ferrari. But that is it for today's Hungarian Grand Prix. Let's head back to the menus. Having a little look at the rivalry update for today's race, we should have beaten Nico Rosberg because we had a much better race compared to him, but he gets a faster lap than us, and that means that he has beaten us in the rivalry. We lost out by 2 points at the end of the day, which is really, really frustrating. It's so annoying that they can beat you just because of fastest laps. It's so frustrating, but we have 1,199 resource points to spend, which we could either upgrade our downforce or upgrade the drag on our car. But I think we're going to upgrade the drag on our car. You know, we've got Germany coming up, we've got Belgium, and we've got Italy. So, you know, they're all power tracks, and having reduced drag on our car will really, really help us across the rest of the season. And hopefully that will put us above Scuderia Toro Rosso as well. And then next time we'll start to save up our resource points and possibly upgrade the downforce or the chassis weight on our car. But that is it for today's Hungarian Grand Prix. A race win, not a race win, a second place that meant so much to me after having a terrible race last season. We finally managed to conquer Hungary. Yes, we didn't get the race win, but still a really, really good result to get on the podium. But that is it for today's race. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to smash that like button. Also, subscribe to my channel if you are new around here. We're going to have this career mode coming to you every single day for the whole of Season 2. And if you are subscribed, then you never have to miss an episode from me. But I'll see you next time at the German Grand Prix. Until then, though, it's goodbye from me.